All right, welcome to Eastman's podcast edition. I'm your host, Ike Eastman. Today, I've got a special guest, Kevan Miller, who has done a lot of stuff. But one of the things that most people remember is that you were a Boston Bruin, right?
Yeah,
NHL.
That was a little portion of my life.
Yeah.
A large portion of my life. But I was fortunate to. First and foremost, thanks for having me on. This is awesome. Connected with Scott. We love you guys.
Thank you.
Follow along. Big fans, and then to be able to sit down and enjoy this with you is awesome. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
And then the hockey side of things was basically I'm 35. I've been playing since I was 5.
Where did you grow up?
I was born in California.
Really?
I don't tell many people that anymore.
Was it Northern California?
No, like 45 minutes north of Los Angeles.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I'm one of those guys, but I don't identify as Californian anymore. And so I was born there, grew up there. I had an older brother, younger brother, still have him, but we moved into a new home, and we were playing roller hockey, and neighbor down the street was like, "Hey, you want to try ice?" And I was so fortunate to go on the ice, and that day knew that that's what I wanted to do, play hockey. And
how old were you?
Got lucky. I was 5 years old.
5?
Yeah.
You're like, I could do this.
This is it.
That's what I'm going to do.
This is it.
Skates are easier than roller skates.
This is it. And then, the rest is kind of ebbs and flows of a journey and a career. And
so how does – because hockey's unique in the sense of how you get from 5 years old playing it, in Little League version, all the way up to NHL. What is that transition?
And I think with every sport, everybody has kind of a different career path and how it worked. Hockey's very unique in that, especially coming from California. It's not a hockey hotbed by any means.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like a product of the Wayne Gretzky moving to the Kings.
Oh yeah.
And it blew up in California, and then just be kind of the right time, right place. And then from there, I played kind of junior or minor league hockey in California until I was 15, and there's a plateau there. You're not going to go past that in California. You got to go somewhere else. So,
okay.
And that for me was I moved back east. I went to a boarding school in Western Mass.
So you took the plunge. So
it was
finished high school.
Yeah,
and boarding school.
My parents were they were all on board. They saw that I was really into it and wanted to do it, and we had a conversation, and they were really high on me getting an education, and which I appreciate now. At the time, I'm like, I want to go juniors and play there's all these different options, and they're like, no, we're going to look at boarding school. So I ended up at a boarding school in Western Massachusetts in Berkshire, and I played 3 years there, and then from there I was recruited to go play at the University of Vermont.
Oh wow!
I went to University of Vermont for 4 years, and then after that went to the Bruins training camp. Undrafted free agent, and kind of won a contract, if you will,
right.
a contract, and played 2 years in the minors, and then 8 years with Boston. So I was kind of fortunate that landed in Western Mass, went to University of Vermont, and then ended up in Boston. So I've been there for 18 years.
That's awesome. So you have a degree at Vermont.
I do, yeah, Vermont. It's a small business entrepreneurship.
Oh, that's fitting for what you're doing now.
Yeah, it's like a little strange. At the time, I was just like, I was in business marketing, and I'm like, man, this is really tough. Like, I don't have the time for this. Like, what's the easiest one that will get me through that I can still play hockey and come out of here with a piece of paper and my parents will be happy, So
you start looking at credits. I got a lot of credits. I can do this.
Oh man! So I went through that whole thing. I quickly learned that business marketing was too tough, and I'm like, I'm out. So I went and did. It's actually like CDAE at University of Vermont, and shout out to those guys. It's not that easy, but it was.
You got the right credits to make it happen.
I got the right credits to make it happen.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, so I made it through that, and now here we are.
So playing NHL at playing hockey, playing any sport, and when you get to the national level, it is a whole nother level of intensity and training. And what do you think is the number one thing that a young hockey player out there right now should know about the process or training or whatever?
Yeah, so
what's some advice there?
I've had these questions before, and I think it all's kind of boiled down to one thing for me, and I think it's just experience through that. And this is, in my opinion, this is more of a life thing than if just putting it into hockey perspective. And that was a big thing for me, is because like everybody has like these different stories throughout their life to get them to where they are. And for me, it was like failure.
Yeah.
Like, to go deep with it, like you just learn so much more from failure than you do success. The things you always remember the negative things. You don't really remember the positive things. And for me, it was like being able to take those failures and have a conversation, look in the mirror, and go, okay, what do I have to do so that doesn't happen again?
Right.
And I've passed that on to kids, and I think that they've heeded that. And I wish, like as a young kid, would have taken that even more, because I think you can learn so much of that. And gosh, it translates so much into hunting for me.
It translates into life. I say of something very similar. I always say that the key to success is making mistakes and learning from them and not making them again.
Yes.
And that's just what you're saying.
It's pretty much what I'm saying.
It's not just hunting, or it's not just sports. It's everything. It's marriages. It's growing kids. It's high school. It's girlfriends. It doesn't matter. Same thing.
And that's for sports especially. And it's not more meaningful than life in general, but like for sports especially, like gosh, like there was a lot of failure in my career. A lot. Cut from this team, cut from that team.
Do you have a couple good failure stories that you'd be willing to share?
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to Berkshire from California, applied in June. Like usually I apply a year before that. I applied in June, met the recruiter in July in California. He's like, yeah, come on with. Yeah. Didn't call the hockey coach before I showed up.
Oh.
Probably something I should do, right?
Yeah.
Didn't call the hockey coach, and I was cut like my junior year. Like it's a huge recruiting year. Your junior year of high school, I played junior varsity my junior year.
Oh my gosh.
So showed up there, played JV junior year, ended up making the varsity team my senior year, and then came back after my senior year. Like I didn't have any offers. I went on D2, D3 visits, and kind of came to a point where, hey, do I go play juniors after high school, a year or two, and then go to college? Like, is that something? And, thankfully Berkshire was like, hey, we can bring you back as a post-grad, which is like a fifth year of high school. You can take some college credits. And
that's
I went back. I did a fifth year of high school, and then 2 weeks into the season, I committed to the University of Vermont.
Oh, that's awesome. So you learned, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you learn.
Devil's in the details.
Devil's in the details, yeah, for sure. And then, as growing up as a kid, I was very small and not a big guy, and my nickname was Pee-wee. Like I literally played with a bunch of older guys, and was cut from 3 or 4 teams as I was growing up, and just kind of kept chipping away at it. So
persistence.
Yeah.
The other thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So Bruins for 8 years.
Yeah.
What years were that? Was
2013 through 2021.
Oh, those are good years.
Yeah.
Those are really good years.
Yep.
So you still have friends that are playing hockey and doing all that stuff. In fact, you have one of your best friends. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. One of my best buddies I played with my whole career in Boston. Crazy, awesome dude, out of his mind. Great hunter. He's connected with you guys. He's done an article with you guys. Brad Marchand out of Halifax. One of the best players in the world. Like people don't, give him the credit for that. I mean, he's top 5 player in the world, and he's just like
he's a machine.
He's a machine. Yeah, he's a machine.
Even if you don't know anything about hockey, you watch
you probably
him play
hear his name. Yeah.
Whoa.
And a lot of it, and I'm just gonna chirp him right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is our relationship.
Yeah.
He's the most fined and suspended NHL player in history. Dead serious.
That's something you brag about? I don't
know.
No,
I think it's hilarious. The guys, I think he's lost. I think he's paid and someone probably would get this. I don't know. It's right around. He's fined $1.4 million in his whole career. So basically, he played his rookie season and part of his second year for free. For free. And but that's what makes him good, man. He's just he's a spitfire. He works so hard. He's had to work hard because he's an undersized guy, and he just came into the league. My favorite part about Marshy is that came into the league, playing on the fourth line, not scoring a whole lot of goals, figured it out, and just adapted his game, got better every year. When he came into the league, he's the same guy right now as when he came into the league.
Really?
Humble guy. Got his ways about him. This is who he is. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, and he hasn't. Me, I don't care.
He hasn't changed one bit since he's been in the league, and it's awesome to see.
Is he younger than you?
He is. He's 34.
Okay. Yeah. So not much.
No. Yeah. 1 year younger.
And he's still got plenty of time playing.
He's got 2 years left after this year, and then want the Bruins to know this. I'm not pulling him away from hockey.
He'll still be able to do it.
Still be able to do it, right? But I'm pulling him to hunt with me a little bit more. I need, partner in crime a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's fully committed to that. Whenever his time is done, there'll be plenty of hunts waiting for him.
He was telling stories about hunting like after practice and before practice.
Oh my gosh, there's been time, and I don't want to get him in trouble. he hunts pretty. He toes the line, and
I'm sure it's hard. When you have that much passion and that much intensity in a sport or anything, it's hard when you do something else not to have that same amount of intensity, not to have that same much passion and drive to do that.
Yeah, well, the other thing is he's doing it his whole life. He's a hunter from day one.
Yeah.
So like his whole family does it. He's been doing it his whole life, and he's been able to kind of figure out times to do it. Where it's like his 1A 1B thing.
Yeah.
Hockey's is 1A and hunting is 1B. Yeah. And so like he's passionate about it, and he's the one who got me into bow hunting. So like, and he slide his way into doing that, by the way.
Yeah, that was one of my next questions.
I was just gonna translate right into that.
Yeah, you didn't grow up hunting, so how did that happen?
So like I always wanted to. Like I loved shooting guns. That was my thing growing up. I just loved shooting guns. That was always my thing. No, my parents were not hunters at all.
Okay.
I got my brothers and I we started with a Red Ryder, BB guns, killing the birds in the backyard, little coyotes and things like that. Anything that moved at the time. Like where we were in California wasn't in the city. We were out a bit, which was my only saving grace.
Yeah.
But we were out, shooting stuff, and then my cousins own a fly fishing lodge. At the time, it was Ruby Springs Lodge in Ruby Valley, Montana.
Okay.
And they started their own one now. It's in Ennis called Madison Double R. Like when we were at the Ruby, they brought us out. I was 15 years old, and we did some duck and pheasant hunting, and it was like I loved it.
You're like,
just,
what is this all about?
Awesome! Like I get to shoot stuff, and like this is cool.
Camaraderie,
it's unbelievable. Yeah, and that kind of like, but for me, it was always hockey first, and I wasn't drafted in this whole thing, so I had to like make sure that I had my ducks in a row in that
your
regard.
1A and 1B was hockey.
Exactly, that was it, right? So I just never kind of got to the point where I could thread the needle in a good spot where I could do both at the same time until later in my career. And so it was always in the back of my mind. I'd love to do this, but I mean, for me, the other part of it is like I'm such an animal lover. My parents thought I was going to be a vet. I grew up. I was a weird kid with snakes and ferrets and all these different animals, and for me, hunting is like a chance to be around those animals, see them up close,
see them in their natural
habitat, and then like celebrate over the meat afterwards. So it's just like it's a way for me to be close to them, enjoy nature and that whole thing, and so it was always an easy decision. Like, yeah, I'd love to do that. And then kind of got to the point where I could towards the end of my career.
Yeah. So how did he convince you to bow hunt?
Yeah. This is Marshy in a nutshell. And to this day he'll be like, no, it showed up like that. But he's like, man, you gotta get.
This is your version of the story.
This is my version of the story. Take it for but. He's like, man, you got to get a bow. Like, you got to come hunting. Like, we're hunting right in Boston, just outside of it. Like, it's close. Like, don't worry, man. You won't be late to practice. Like, I'm there with you. We'll be good.
If we're late, there's two of us.
Exactly. We're good. Safety in numbers. It's like, no, but he got. And I was always just kind of like, no, man, I like shooting guns. Like, I'm not really into bow hunting. Like, whatever. And then he's like, no, you trust me. You got to do it. You're gonna love it. And then one day, I just didn't take the plunge. He's like, hey, man. This bow, like I ordered this bow and it showed, I'm a lefty. Okay. It makes a lot of sense if you know me, but showed up lefty. He's like, I bought this bow on eBay and it showed up lefty. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. He's like, you can have it, man. Like, it's this nice Matthews, like, brand new bow. I'm like, it showed up lefty. And I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. But take it to the bow shop, get it all set up, start shooting it, can, like, start to see, like, the discipline of it. Right. And, like, this is really cool. I like this. And then I sat in the tree stand for a while. I'm like, this is even cooler.
I'm going to see a lot of stuff.
This is awesome. Yeah, this is awesome. And then, I what happened was I actually broke my hand. my pullback hand, so my left hand.
Okay.
I broke my hand early in the season, like right as I'm getting into bow hunting. Like,
Uh-oh.
I broke my hand, and
Hopefully it was during hockey and not hunting.
no, it was during hockey, not hunting, right? So I broke my hand, and they put a cast on me, but I could still pull my bow back because I just wrapped it around the cast.
Oh, okay.
So I put it around the cast, and my fingers were out of the thing, so it was
you could
good.
still
I could
use
still
trigger,
shoot.
yeah.
I could still use a trigger and still shoot. And so I'd go in the morning, and I'd get my work done, go work out and do my thing, and then I'd go sit in the stand. And
were you still able to play hockey?
No, I couldn't play.
You can't play.
Couldn't play hockey. So because
Right.
I got a cast on, right?
Right.
But I had it on for 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks, about 4 weeks, and had the cast on. Couldn't play hockey, but I could skate and stay
Right.
in shape.
Right.
But couldn't use my stick. So I'd go in the morning and work out, skate, take care of my stuff, and then I'd go sit in the stand, usually from about 1 to 7.
Okay.
And Marshy put me in the stand in a couple of spots, and I went 21 days without seeing a deer.
Oh my gosh.
Straight.
So that perseverance is
Well,
very
it was
strong
like,
with you.
Well, no, it was just like I'm like, damn it, am I doing something wrong? What's going on here? And he's like, no, man, like I don't know what's going on. You'll be fine. Just keep going. And it almost got to the point because I'd come home and my wife's like, well, did you see anything? Did you get anything?
Yeah. What is
and
this
like,
time you're wasting?
Yeah, she's like, well, now I kind of felt like I had my tail tucked. Like I had to come home with something eventually. Otherwise, like I'm that guy.
Yeah.
You know. So it became like almost like a me versus deer kind of thing. You know, literally. And I was like, I'm going to see this through. And I'm glad I did because, like, finally on, like, day 22, this little buck popped out, little 2x2. Like, I don't even think you could put tape on it. And
Milk still on
just
his lip.
literally just drilled that thing at 15 yards. And it was the coolest thing ever. And I loved every bit of it. And, like, have that thing hanging up in my office. And
well, that's one of those things you think to yourself, gosh, I hope if I have the opportunity, I haven't lost it over the 21 days I've been sitting here.
Oh, I know.
Were you still shooting every day?
Oh, I was still shooting.
Yeah.
I'd still go out, and most of the time it was shooting like before I'd go in the stand because at 1 o'clock nothing's coming in.
Yeah.
So I'd go and I'd bring it, and I'd go shoot a couple like 300 or 400 yards away. I'd shoot, bring the target, and then I'd go.
Yeah.
And I'd just go sit. It got to the point. I mean, rain or shine, it was like I'm going in and like I gotta get one. Like at this point, it was like if a doe comes out, I'm shooting the doe.
Whatever happens.
Whatever comes out,
yeah.
I'm shooting it.
And that squirrel that's been chirping for 3 days.
Oh, he wants it. he wants it. So, no, it was cool, and I've been hooked ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what bow do you shoot now?
I shoot a Hoyt.
Nice.
Shoot the RX-7 Ultra.
Yep.
I love the Matthews. I've been kind of back and forth, and just I don't know.
That's what you got.
That's what I got, and I think you know what I think. I think it's like kind of like hockey sticks for me. It was like one guy shoots Bauer, one guy shoots Warrior, one guy shoots Easton, one guy. You know what I mean?
It's like boots.
It's the same thing.
Just,
exactly.
Yeah, whatever fits you.
Whatever fits you, you use.
Yep.
And for some reason, that one fits me. So shoot that one now. And who knows what's next?
Yeah, that's cool. So do you have big plans this fall? You and Marshy going to hunt this fall?
So I don't think Marshy's and this is and I've tried to be supportive of this with him. He's got this year to finish. He's got 2 years after that.
Yep.
And I know he really wants to knuckle down and like finish his career strong. Play in the Olympics. I think it's 2025.
Yeah.
He had a chance to this past one in China, and then we pulled out. And he was really bummed about that.
Yep.
And he really wants to play in that, and I know he wants to be successful for the Bruins. So I'm not going to pull him in that direction, and I think he's kind of at that point too. Just kind of, I'm trying to set up hunts for when he retires.
Yeah.
So that he has something on the calendar that he can look at and go, hey man, like we're going to that. Awesome.
Something
so I don't
to look forward to. It's not an end.
Exactly. So something to look forward to that he can keep kind of, and I don't have to worry about this. He's going to keep his head in the game. He's a professional like this thing, but I don't want him to feel like he's missing out.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He bought a place in Colorado.
Oh, nice.
And so he's got some land in Colorado. He might pop out there I might join him in that before training camp, depending on when that is. But we've enjoyed some times together. For sure.
So tell me about your retirement. After 8 years, you just hung it up?
Yep. So I had
injury?
4 knee surgeries.
Oh.
Yeah, I had 4 knee surgeries on my right knee. I missed a whole season playing. I came back to finish. They signed me again, and I just wasn't going out on that. Came back, got to the point with my knee where it just didn't. I wasn't even practicing anymore. I was only playing games. It was just wearing on me. And I finally got to the point I just said, like this, I enjoy hunting, I enjoy hiking, I enjoy my kids. Like, it just wasn't worth it. And
so you still having knee problems?
Not hunting? Bad. Honestly, not bad. The good part about it, the doctor during that whole time was like, hey, like hiking's really good for you. Yeah. Like, you should do a lot more of that. So, and I'm like, Haley, my wife, I'm like, doctor's prescribing this.
I'm sorry, I have to be gone 10 days.
I've got to be gone.
Not 7,
We're
10.
gonna and there's and so no, it worked out really well. And so actually, like that, like action of hiking and hunting and all that, and even carrying load, is beneficial for it. Yeah. So.
I'd like to interrupt this episode. I hope you're enjoying it, but I want to talk to you about one of the sponsors that make these episodes possible. Today, let's talk about Cryptic Clothing. It is a veteran-owned, patriot-loving, God-fearing company that builds unbelievable clothing and camouflage. If you haven't checked them out, do so at cryptic.com. Check out some of their altitude pieces, which are my favorite, some of the best fabrics, insulating layers. They got no matter what hunt you're going on, no matter what adventure, even if it's just a dinner with the wife, they have the piece that you want to wear outside as well as support in this ever-loving, God-fearing, veteran-owned company.
I obviously nothing like you did, but I got knee surgery 2 years ago, and how fast your muscles go away and how long it takes to come back, it is insane.
It's crazy.
Absolutely insane. I can't imagine doing it 4 times.
It was it was not fun.
And
it was not fun.
Hiking to this day, I'm like, I'm going to start hiking in a circle because one leg's stronger than the other.
Yeah. You start feeling it. You're like, what the heck? You start wearing one shoe out more than the other. Yeah, for sure. I get a little bit of that too. And it's like almost like for me, it was making the connection between my brain and that muscle again to try to like make it work. Yep. It was actually the frustrating part. It's almost like, I want you to do, I know what it feels like to do this, but it just doesn't do it. Yeah. And so making those connections again was a trip.
I had a I guess it was a therapist that walked me through and how to work each muscle and get it awake, because a lot of times they fall asleep.
Yeah, they're done.
And they don't wake up. Yeah. And then other muscles take back, and then all of a sudden your geometry's all messed up. Mm-hmm. And that was a huge turning point for me. And the other one for me was acupuncture. Yeah. That was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I don't like needles. Terrified of needles.
Yeah, I didn't either. My eyes were closed the whole entire time.
When they're doing it.
And then the doctor's like,
are you okay?
Yeah, you all right? I'm like, can you just take a photo? Here's my phone. Eyes closed. Can you take a photo and just so I can see this later? Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, I look like a porcupine.
They did one with me where like they do it where they put it between your eyes, your ears, and the whole thing. Yeah. And the lady's like, oh, like if you fall asleep, don't worry about it. We'll come in and check on you. Like, it's okay, honey. And I'm like, I promise you, I'm not gonna fall asleep.
I'm gonna be staring at this.
I'm sweating right now. Like, I can't move. This is not helping me. Take these out of me. She's like, no, you're gonna enjoy it. One time, done. Yeah. Never again.
I didn't do that. That was the stress one. I was like, I don't want to. I'll just sit here and look at that needle between my eyes all day.
Yeah. It's not gonna happen. I don't know. But.
Well, that's awesome. So, what's on the docket now? What are you guys into? Well, first off, you live here in Utah. Yeah. You retired here. Yep. And what's the plan now?
So when I retired, my wife's kind of like, hey, are you going to take some time off? And I'm like, yeah, I would love to. But we were like right in the process of like starting to build a home. Okay. My dad's a general contractor, and he's like, hey, man, you can do it. Like, you can do it yourself. Yeah. It's like, you'll be fine. You'll be
easy.
Good.
I've done hundreds
of them. It's easy. You'll be fine. he's like, oh, I'll help you. He's like, famous last words, right? And he's like, oh, I'll help you too. Like, don't worry, I'll help you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we started that, and then I've been more busy in my whole life than that. I was like 7 days a week, every day for, Yeah. You probably know, but
I've never built my own house. I built my parents' house, and I remodeled too.
So
Oh
it's
yeah.
Just like
it's insane.
It's not. Yeah. So that was interesting. We got into our house November 10th this past year.
Oh, awesome.
Moved in, and everything was good. And then, my wife's like, okay, so you're gonna take some time off now? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. And then, like 4 days of sitting on my hands and.
Idle hands.
Start looking around for next thing. So, yeah. So I actually I work with a project management construction company up in Camas, where I'm really close to home, and enjoy it. And
that's awesome.
It's fun. Yeah. I don't travel much, and I traveled so much for hockey. Yeah. That was not on the table. Whatever was going to keep me close to. I got 2 young kids. I have a 5-year-old daughter, 3-year-old son.
Awesome.
And whatever's going to keep me close to home. I don't really care what I'm doing, but. it's fun. I enjoy it. I'm a to-do list guy, so like I get to cross a lot
Which
of
is
stuff off
awesome
my
as a
to-do
project
list.
manager. That's what you do all day.
That's what I do all day. So like that's a big thing for me. I enjoy it, and then.
Is there things now that you're a project manager, you go back to this how you did your house and you just shake your head at yourself?
Oh my gosh!
What was I thinking?
Yeah, how did I do that? And like,
why was I calling the plumber? I should have been talking to the electrician.
Yes, and I'm still figuring it out because I'm still agreeing with it and the whole thing. But I think the most I don't know. It's there's part of it that's satisfying when you're building stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's just satisfying.
Step back and go. I built that.
Yeah, that or just like seeing progress.
Yeah.
Like progress and things is like and that was, I mean, for hockey, that's the same thing. It's just progress, getting better at that. So I don't know. It translates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's fun. So kids 3 and 5.
Yeah.
Are you getting them out outer doors?
Yeah. So they. So I'm not skiing just because of my knee, but my daughter just started skiing with her school. And I'm sure, it's like a bad taste in my mouth right now, with the knee thing, that I'm sure in a couple of years that like when she's like, hey Dad, will you come ski, that I think I'll do it.
Do you ski at all?
I used to.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to. It won't be fine. I'll be fine doing it.
When I'm
honestly more worried about other people than myself. No, really. And that's because all my buddies are like, yeah, I ski, and this other guy came over and just blew my knee out, and so where we're at, like close to Park City, it's just madness. Exactly. Yeah. So I'd be more worried about that than myself, because at this point, like I've come to terms, like there's 2 things that I'll get injured doing, is like hunting and like riding my horse. Other than that, like
doesn't matter.
I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm not snowmobiling. I'm not doing riding dirt bikes. I've just come to terms with that. So, but yeah, she started skiing, and my son. Probably close behind her.
Yep.
But we live on a little bit of land, and they like hanging with the horses, and they like, my daughter's probably like has a better eye for elk and deer than I do now.
Really?
Just driving in the back of the truck, and she's, Dad, there's deer, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Just drove right by that. Yeah, she's like way over there. So she's getting pretty good at it, and my son has got a little bow that he shoots, and I think that they're going to probably follow down that path.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have a choice. And you're doing it right. You're making it early in life so that it's not a shock.
Yeah, no.
I've given this advice a lot. Getting kids into hunting, do it before they can remember they're doing it.
Yeah.
And then they won't remember not doing it.
Yeah.
And when somebody goes, you hunt? Well, yeah, you mean you don't?
You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, we brought deer home and processed them at our place, and they're there right there with us, hands in it. Perfect. Hey, what's that? Poking the eye, pulling the tongue, pulling the ears, taking stuff out.
Yeah.
And every night when we're having, I've been fortunate. I've been taking a lot of animals. Like I've had some time, and everything we eat from now is meat. Is all meat that we've brought home.
Yep.
So like they're like, hey Dad, what's this? It's like, oh, that's black bear from Maine, or like, oh, that's an oryx from New Mexico, or this is a moose or caribou, whatever.
Yep.
And so they're all in on it. So they love it. And my daughter's she's already, we got a buck at our place this year. We just called Kicker because he had a big old kicker on the side of him. And he was kind of like a resident buck around our house. And she's like, Dad, when do I get to shoot Kicker? And he was a big buck. And I'm like, and we're gonna start with something smaller.
Yeah.
We're gonna start maybe with a doe from there. She's 5, and she's already asking. So I think she's entertaining it for sure.
Yeah, my oldest is 12, and in Wyoming, that's when you can start hunting. And we did a butt kicker 10-day, not physically hard. It's not like we went backpacking or something, but
grinding though.
It was 10 below zero a couple days, and she's freezing to death, and just learning the whole experience. And we didn't see any bucks during buck season, and then doe season starts, and we see all bucks and no does. And it was just one of those things,
Yeah.
But it was fun to watch, and it was fun to see through her eyes. It's actually renewed a part of hunting that I had lost just because it was so long ago for me.
Yeah.
And to watch the naivety and watch her, how she learned how to deal with being cold, learned how to deal with being hungry, learned how to deal with not seeing anything, boredom.
Yeah.
And I didn't let, no screens. We're not bringing phones. We're going to sit here and I'm going to lean over and go, see that bird? That's this. And did you see that? And just stuff. And watch the river go by if you're really bored.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
That's awesome.
All right. So you guys are planning on hunts, planning on, you got
Yep.
you've bought some opportunities, right?
Yeah. Well, so we have our outfit in Newfoundland.
Yep.
Which is
It's under what's named?
it's MarchMilCo Outfitters.
Okay, I didn't know if they were different.
No, it is different. Technically, it's just the name because
Okay.
it's basically Marshy's family, right? His dad, his brother, him, and then me in it.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, we got into it more of. Initially, we had so many tags. We had like 24 moose tags and all this stuff. Like, hey, we could sell them, but like we could, it'd probably kill off all the moose and this and that. And so we got to the point where we're like, we're just going to sell enough to keep the lights on. The rest of them, we're going to take our friends and family to enjoy. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to use. It's always there for us to go. If we need a tag, if we have nothing planned, like we can go up there and use it.
And this is Newfoundland?
In Newfoundland, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a great spot. Like I got the chance to go out here this last fall, like after COVID and all that.
Uh-huh.
Able to get up there and had an awesome time. Really cool country. But it's not like we don't have a booth here for a reason, right? We're just not, we don't need, let's just bring our friends and family there and enjoy it, bring people we want to bring. So we brought, the SIG guys came out this past fall, Tom Taylor, Patrick Hanley.
Oh, gosh.
So they came out. We had a time. We had an awesome time, right? So I just about killed Tom. Sorry, Tom. I'll tell you right now if you're listening, like, I love you. I almost killed Tom.
What's that story? Could you share it?
Oh man, yeah. So we're in this spot and it's not easy. Like the Tuckamore where it's at, it's not easy to get through. And like it looks like, oh, we can get through there. And then like 3 hours later, you went like 300 yards.
Yeah.
And Tom and he's like, yeah, I've punted before. I'll be fine. He's like, just don't make it too hard. But we ended up getting down to this spot, and it's almost like a little bit Alaska-ish where you're just always wet and cold.
Yeah.
No matter what. There's just so much water. There's water coming up through rocks. It's just water everywhere. And so you end up wet and cold no matter what you do, no matter the day, no matter what. But it's raining on us, and it's then snowing and raining and frozen. We went out in the morning. We found these couple bulls, moose bulls, and found these bulls, and then they tucked away and they sat down. And we're like, all right, they're not moving anywhere. So we're going to go back, we'll warm up, and we'll come back out again. So we came back out again, and it's the afternoon hunt, right?
Yeah.
Which is, it's going to be a long night.
Yep. You shoot one of those.
It's going to be a long night.
It might be daylight again by the time we're done.
It would have been, for sure. And get down to the spot, and we end up shooting them. And we go over there, and it's like we got like 30 minutes before light goes off, and it's raining, and now it's snowing.
Oh.
And we get over there. Bull's not there. Don't find any blood. Clearly got on film, hit him. Like,
no.
Okay, so we're searching. We're getting to the point now where it's like, we got to go. This is kind of starting to get a little dicey.
Yeah.
And it got dicey. It just got like we were trying to find our way back. We're using this
things
GPS,
start freezing up.
And
you can't see anything.
We got 5 dudes with us, and like it just just about we got back and everything to the point where the guys who were already back who were hunting the other side had come out looking for us in the Argo.
Oh geez.
So like we were at that point, but we ended up finding the bull next morning.
Day.
Yeah, found the bull, and Tom was out of there the next day. We were good, but we had a great time.
Yeah, those are character builders.
Character builders.
And moments you go, I shouldn't have let him do that.
Yes.
Or shouldn't have done that.
Yes. Well, it was the last day to hunt. And he was leaving the next day.
Oh, so
and we're staring at 2 bulls.
Mm-hmm.
It's 4:30, and I'm like, okay. Close my ears, bang!
This is gonna be
this is
bad.
happening. We're doing this. We're really doing it, Harry. Yeah. So, but yeah, it worked out. And Tom was awesome, great sport. But it was like every rock, it was like slip here, slip there, ankle twist.
Yep.
Like so.
It's bruised up knees.
And beats.
Hoping somebody doesn't actually end up broken leg
Yes,
type deal.
exactly. Like one of the ones where you get back, it's like 1 a.m, and we're sitting around dinner and nobody says a word.
Yeah.
We're just eating, we're exhausted, and then like, okay, guys, see you in the morning.
Yeah. Because tomorrow we got to find a moose.
Exactly.
And hopefully it's still there.
Exactly.
And hopefully it's not buried in snow and we can't find him.
Exactly.
Oh,
so
geez.
it worked out, but it was a lot of fun.
So you have that place in Newfoundland. You have have other places.
We have
place
one
in Colorado.
So Marshy, that's his place in Colorado. He's got a place down there, and then we have an outfit with MarchMilCo Outfitters where we do Black Bear and New Brunswick.
Okay.
So we do that.
Odd places in Canada.
Well, so he's from Halifax, so it's all kind of areas.
I didn't
and
know
where
that.
he's from Halifax, so
Okay.
like that's his region, if you will.
Yeah,
His dad and his brother and his family know the area, so they can get to it pretty quickly if there's a problem. It's just, I had never been there before, and I'm here to tag along. So yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah,
very, very cool.
it's fun.
So I prefaced this earlier with a couple questions.
Yeah.
What is one thing that, or it doesn't have to be one thing, but what is the thing that keeps you hunting? And probably we kind of talked about how you started hunting, but what's one thing that keeps you hunting? Why do you continue to hunt?
That's a deep one, because I was reading this book. I forget exactly what it was, but it's like a 3-day window where, like, after 3 days, if you detach yourself from like your phone and society and the whole thing, things start getting clear. Yeah. I love that feeling. There's something primal about it. It's like, it's spiritual for me. I'm a faith-driven guy. Like, there's like, if I find God, like, that's where I find him for me. And then, like,
when all the world is quiet.
It is. It's quiet. It's in this world we live in where there's not a whole lot of quiet. Like, and that's to be honest with you, why I moved to where I moved, because like where I'm at, it's damn quiet at night. And I can see the stars, and I don't have neighbors. And everyone's like, "What's wrong with you, man? You're out in the middle of nowhere. Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm great."
You're an introvert. You get your energy from being alone.
100%. So like that's, like, and people don't get that a lot from me, but like that's I am an introvert.
Yeah, that's how I am too. I come to for those who don't know, we're at the Salt Lake City Salt Palace at the Western Hunting Expo.
Anything but an introverted place.
Oh my gosh. I tell my wife often I just want to go sit myself in a closet for like just an hour. Just give me an hour.
And you'd feel like $1 million afterwards.
100%.
I'm with you.
100%.
So that's what hunting is, that for me. Yeah. For sure.
It's really interesting. Do you find that the 3 days shrinks, grows, or is more intense the older you get?
So like the first 3 days?
Yes, the first 3 days without cell phones and all the noise.
For me, I feel like it's a long 3 days.
Yes.
I feel like it's a really long 3 days, and then after the 3 days, the next
fast.
7 is like the fastest days ever. You lose time, you lose day, you lose hour, like everything's gone, and you blink, and all of a sudden it's like it's over.
Yes.
It sucks.
It seems like the older I get, those 3 days seem longer and longer and harder. But the opposite end, like you just said, the 7 days are more enjoyable the older I get.
Yeah, I love them. That's why, like, I don't book hunts for 3 to 5 days anymore.
No.
It's like 7 to 10.
Yep.
7 to 10.
Yep.
And like otherwise, it's like there's no point, because I'm not getting what I should out of the 3 to 5.
Yeah.
I'm really not, because I'm only getting 36 hours at the end, and it feels like I blink and it's
minutes.
over.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So another one, a big deep one that I ask everybody is, if God willing, you have the opportunity to be laying on your deathbed and you know that the time is near and you have time to think about it, what are you going to be thinking about?
I mean, it's cliche. Right?
No, it's not.
My kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kids, for sure. Like, and like people say, kids change you and this and that. Kids change you.
They wreck your world in a wonderful way.
In the best way.
Yes.
And I'm like, and like after hockey, it's just been like it's weird, because I've kind of established my like income and everything from hockey to beginning, right? So like I've found a lot of that early in life, right? So everything that I'm doing now is like directed around my time, my space, intention with my kids.
Yeah.
And so I think at a deathbed, I'm thinking, hey, did I do enough for them? Are they in a good enough spot? Could I and would I have been a better dad? Should I have been? And so like I think that, I think about those a lot. It's kind of weird, but I don't know.
No, I think you're spot on, and I've asked this question to a lot of guys, and it's very similar. They all have a different twist on it, but it's basically their legacy, what they're leaving behind. Yeah. And our kids are really the true legacy.
Yeah, for sure.
And
if you, it's, and There's only so, I mean, especially in the world nowadays, there's only so much you can do. Kids are going to grow up and they're going to do. But if you put your best foot forward to be intentional with them and raise them the right way and give them the best opportunity to be who they are and where they want to be, and how you want to raise them, then then at that point you can just say, "Love you."
Yep.
You know,
and they will be good people.
Exactly.
And you can die peacefully.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So one thing that you want everybody, my audience, to know about you, even if it's learn from you, learn about you, or learn about a subject, what do you think?
Oh man, one thing the audience to know about me.
Yeah.
Man, that's a deep one. And you twisted it a little bit too.
Well, you could answer the other way.
One thing they want me to know about me.
One thing they could learn from you.
One thing they learned from me.
Yeah.
Well, I spoke a little bit about it earlier, but I won't give you that one. I was just going to say, learn more from failure than success. But that's.
And that's why I twisted it.
You twisted it because you thought we've covered that. Yeah, one thing to know about me. I think I don't know. I'm Christian. I'm kind of on my faith journey. That's something.
Is this something forever? Have you been Christian your whole life, or is this new?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. We're not a Christian family. We didn't go to church every weekend as a family growing up. I had a few moments where God and I connected, and it's been a up and down hill from there.
Yeah.
As I'm sure everybody's faith journey is basically the same, right? Wasn't always the best guy or kid or whatever.
Yeah.
Made tons of mistakes in my life, but I'm on that journey, and I'm thankful for it.
And you're raising your kids that way.
And I'm trying to raise my kids that way.
Which is huge.
Trying to put their, and I think it's coming back around.
Yeah.
In our culture.
I agree.
I think it's coming back around.
I agree.
Because it's got to a certain point where find it or not.
Yeah. And I think the polar opposites in our country, because they're so polar now, that when you're on one side of it, that is your natural progression.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It really
100%.
is.
It is.
To think that I'm not in control of this. There is a bigger thing than just me.
100%. And because nowadays you see stuff that's going on and you're like, it's just one side or the other. Like you said, it's just one side or the other. And I've chose to go down this path. I'm like, I hope everyone's going with me, and you don't know.
That's
so
cool.
that's one thing about me.
That's awesome.
Sure.
No wonder you and Scott get along so well.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Actually, almost all of my company is in that same one step or further in that same realm. Well, I grew up Christian. I grew up, going to church every Sunday, and I didn't know any different. And there's guys in our office that were similar to you. Yeah. Played with it, and then really
put their feet in.
Really got passionate about it.
And then put their feet all the way in. And but the cool, I don't know, and this is something I've learned over time and how this is going, but and this is something I really hope to teach to my kids, because man, growing up, the people who you hang out with, the 5 people you hang out with the most, you're the product of that.
Yeah, you're the sum of the 5 people you hang out with.
You are the sum of those, right?
Yes.
And so, growing up, I had some sums that were good, some that were bad, and wish I could have taken things back, but it got me here, and there's a reason I'm here. But doing my best to put myself around those 5 people that are really going to push me and pull me in the right direction.
Yes.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me on. This is awesome.
I hope someday we get to share a camp together.
That'd be awesome.
Because that's
arm.
That's where I always say, you really want to know something about somebody, take them on that 3 to 5.
Yeah.
After that 3-day, you really know everything about them.
You know a ton about them.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's true.
That's for sure.
I'd love to. We'll line it up. That'd be
Perfect.
cool.
So. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Hey folks, thanks for listening today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You got to hang out with some of the people that I think are the most interesting I've ever met. And remember, fair chase is the only way to hunt and take trophy big game. See you next time right here on Eastman's Podcast Edition.